If hyperfocus were the power of ADHD, you would control it and use it every day, right? But deep down, you know that's not how it works. For days you wake up determined to be more productive, but go to bed worried about having done very little. I created a method that helps me get around this. And you can also learn in the first link in the description
some traits that are quite common in ADHD adult. Well, usually a person realizes that something is wrong with them regarding their own performance in their activities. So, it's someone who has a lot of difficulty with studying. They have struggled their whole life in school, even though 20% of people with ADHD don't have school problems. She can engage, it's not that terrible to open the notebook and get things done. So she can have a slightly higher level of motivation, let's say a bit more dopamine production, so she can progress in that sense. Can you keep moving in that direction? So once she realizes that she has had a lot of difficulty throughout her entire life, she doesn't understand why others do things with such ease that she can't do. She can't produce. She understands this difference between herself and others. She is the majority. It's already an important sign that ADHD might be present, especially regarding impulsivity, relationship problems, and impulsivity. Not just in doing, but in doing and in speaking. You say things without thinking. Have you ever created a block? I'm talking about the 30-year-old adult who has never been diagnosed. The guy has already made so many social blunders. The guy almost develops a social phobia. The guy gets really nervous when he's about to meet someone new, a new colleague, a new girl, like, come on over here. Sometimes a guy has a hard time approaching a girl. An example like this, because he thinks that the person will laugh in his face. The guy doesn't even know him. The girl doesn't even know the guy, but she will reject the guy right away. So, consequences in this sense: difficulty with your performance, difficulty in your sustained attention, in your focus, in your execution of rhythmic tasks. He's a chronic procrastinator. Like, man, nothing makes me perform. Like I see my colleague doing with much more ease, you know? The guy feels like the ugly duckling in the situation. So he realizes that something might happen in that sense. There might be something in that sense, and then it's important for him to see a professional. Do anamnese? Anamnese would be a reading, a questionnaire, a reading with a long conversation with the doctor about the things he has experienced up until that point. Up until that moment, there are many people, many adults who don't have childhood memories. My younger sister, in fact, is a person like that. She says that she doesn't remember anything before the age of 11, or flashes like that. I have vivid memories from the age of 3 onwards, 3, 4 years old. In fact, I tell a lot of stories from my early childhood in the book, because there was a lot going on at that time, okay? But, so you have to realize that there is a range of situations, common ones happening to you, common to those with ADHD. So there's also difficulty in socialization, inability, memorization, learning. It's all dragged out, chronic, procrastination, and that thing where I go to take a shower but get sidetracked and end up doing something else. You're going to the fridge, right? You go to the fridge to grab something and end up taking something else.
I'm going upstairs now to finish something. It stinks. You'll be there in a bit.
Playing chess, that's a trait. It's a trait, also a very common thing. Keep an eye on it.
Executives.
It's about love. But you know what? I think there are guys, just a bunch of lazy bastards. But no, I am. But what I'm saying, Petri, is the following. Sometimes you come across this thing about comedy. Do of the show Man, for example. I loved that. I loved the stage when I was little, so I had a knack for it. Man, when I was 4 years old, I attended a daycare called Parque Encantado. It still exists today, there in Brasilia. And the same teachers are still there today. At least one, I know it's still there today. Yeah, right. And then I was cast to perform at 4 years old. I was cast to play the main roles because I had a talent. How did it work? For example, at the end of the year, I had the snowman. We would put on a little play that had a little snowman and a line to say. And back then, the owner of that daycare, who passed away a few years ago, would record on a cassette tape. She would take a little book and record her lines onto the cassette tape. The baby Jesus happened. That children's story, right? And out of nowhere, I started narrating that thing in real time. So I was cast to be the character, and while she was speaking, she would play the cassette tape with her voice, right? That she had read from the little book, I don't know. Dude, in real time, I would listen and speak, gesturing, saying things like, the boy came and this happened. I was gesturing, I was speaking with my mouth and everything. I had that flair. And I really liked that. So, during the time I was there, I stayed for 3 years. And whenever we had those little plays and everything, I was usually cast to be the main standout role because I could pull it off, you know? At school too, I like to tell jokes and everything. Dude, I'm gonna tell you something here. I was always going to the coordination office. In 3rd grade, me too. Same thing. Dude, in 3rd grade, man. And there was a coordinator named Erica. Man, I wonder if she knows I exist, Erica. A hug for you. A kiss for you. A kiss for you? So, she must know. She must remember me. Dude, I was always going to the coordination office. And she was strict. Every time I get to the coordination office, every coordinator has to be strict. She's like an evil teacher, you know, because she's there to like, oh, come on, stop doing that. Get over here. There was a time when I arrived and the teacher was guiding me. Then she said, so I got to the classroom, the teacher behind me, holding me by the shoulder, and Erica was right in front of me. Not again, Yuri. It's not possible. What happened this time? Teacher X, what was her name again? No, that's too much. Besides him bringing the cure, the moment I manage to control the class, he tells a joke. And then people start laughing, so he keeps bringing the conversation back. He said something that made everyone laugh, and I couldn't control it anymore. I said, I'm going to take this kid away. I'm going to leave him here in the coordination office and then come back to be able to teach. What did he do? He said, no, because I was talking about something. And I said, no way, because that kid, he makes a heart out of a dick, you know? Like, from guts to heart, man. Erica started laughing out loud and she said, you can't do that. And the girl, laughing her ass off, I was looking at her like I was so pissed. I said, how are you laughing at me? I was like in 3rd grade, I don't know, 9 years old, and I said, that pun about guts to heart, making a heart out of a dick? She started laughing her ass off. This makes me think, isn't it the system that's all wrong? She started laughing her ass off.
This makes me think, isn't it the system that's all wrong?
That too, man. Look how things have evolved in the last 100 years. 100 years? You were treating ADHD? Let's go. Children who got spanked statistically, following that statistic, made there in the United Kingdom, let's say that, proportionally, a good part of those little hands that got spanked had ADHD. So, the system might be wrong. The system was already wrong back then. It's still wrong today, just less wrong. And maybe in about 100 years, if everything goes well, we'll have a system where you can identify it as early as possible and have a whole approach specifically for ADHD.
A good course for ADHD, it doesn't try to turn you into someone you're not, but helps you to know yourself and take advantage of your strengths so that you can then move forward in life with maximum potential. I invite you to check out the ADHD Club in action at the first link in the description.